It started in 1847 with Michael Hare and a couple of his brothers, and his dad came along, and this was in 1847. They came from Bavaria, made their way to the Northwest Territory, and in 1848 it became the state of Wisconsin. And they bought acreage of land in the township of Meeme, and they built a small home first. And he seen a need there because they were engaged in farming, and they were right on a main military road that went from Milwaukee all the way. In fact, I think it came from Illinois all the way up to Green Bay. So you had merchants and immigrants moving north and south on there. And he decided he could build a much bigger structure, and this is the structure he built around 1855, in that time frame, someplace like that, which included a dance hall upstairs and lodging rooms, so he could have people stay overnight. He had a little store inside the building where they could pick up general supplies they needed. He also included a bar, because most places where you traveled, you had to refresh yourself. So this was the beginning of the Meeme House, and it stayed in the Hare family for a few years. And around, I'm going to say around 1880, in that time frame, something like that, he became the postmaster, and mail started coming to the Meeme House by stagecoach. So we already had traffic coming on through here, so we needed a livery stable, which they did build here. So we had to switch to horses, and the horses had to rest and refresh themselves, you know. And it progressed and grew from that point on. And one of the biggest celebrations I can remember that they took place here was on the 4th of July. 4th of July celebrations were just huge. It would bring the whole community together for a celebration, and it took place in this building here, which is really neat. And in around 1909, Joe Schwartz bought the building, and he continued running it until his death in about 1947. And then his wife took over, and she ran the business until 1955. And then after she passed on, their daughter Valeria took over the business, and it stayed there until she passed in 2012. And a year later, the Historical Society had an opportunity to buy the building and move it here. And that's kind of a brief story how the building got here, which is really neat.